guys, we're not making this up. And you can take it to your counsel at your outlet's offices and have them review it, and they'll tell you the same thing. This should have been done in a much more careful manner, and it was not. And I'm going to point out again, when the authors were asked to fix it, they said they weren't interested in doing that. Okay, why? Because this is a raw and obvious political exercise. Again, I'm just going to leave you with this question. You should go ask them all. If you were so concerned about the Epstein files and protecting the victims, why didn't you do a darn thing about it for the 4 years of the Biden administration? All this stuff was sitting in a warehouse and nobody said a word about it. They didn't care. Now they're doing it. We all know why. Because they're trying to attack President Trump. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
So what does this mean about the Epstein files? It is the Epstein File Transparency Act. In the House, it was introduced by Democrat Kiana and Representative Thomas Massie. And then Senator Jeff Merkley, which is a Democrat, introduced this companion bill with multiple other members in both the House and the Senate for co-sponsors of these bills. The request to update to where the Epstein File Transparency Act has been an ongoing point of discussion since July of this year, but it gained significant public attention and debate of November, the days leading up to the scheduled House vote of today. Now, Thomas Massie and Kahana maintained that their bill already included provisions to protect victims' sensitive information through redaction, specifically allowing the withholding of data that identifies victims, depicts child abuse, and jeopardizes an ongoing investigation. So Thomas Massie and the rest of them were asked to make this stronger. How? Okay, like for instance, with a mandatory redaction. The current bill states that attorney generals may withhold or redact, okay, which leaves room for variables of if they choose to, or what they choose is important or not. This could be strengthened by changing the language to shall require the redaction. Explicit prohibition of public identifications. Amending the text to explicitly prohibit the public's release of victims' names or identifying details or circumstances unless the victim explicitly consents in writing. Information, adding a more robust and expansive definition related to victims within the bill's text could close potential loopholes, ensuring that not only names, but also other sensitive details, specific locations, medical history, family details, and all of this. Judicial review for victim concerns, establishing a formal process where a victim could petition a court for an injunction or review if they believe their identity or sensitive information is about to be improperly released, could give victims more legal resources. Whistleblower protections. Once Mike Johnson adds specific whistleblower protections to this bill, this would likely be aimed at Justice Department employees who come forward with information related to the case and may not directly involve victim anonymity, but relates to overall protection and concern. And finally, stricter penalties for improper disclosure. Adding severe penalties for any government official or entity that negligently or intentionally releases protected victim information that could act as a stronger deterrent. So see, if they didn't change just by one word, shall require, and they left it alone to where it would stay, they may withhold. If you really want to protect the victims, it's all about word verbiage, legalities. That would mean some of these judges and are off the wall, the losing the marble Democrats could have a heyday and not protect the victims. But you should want to protect the victims. Isn't that what this is about? Isn't that what all of this is? You've been screaming, protecting the victims. But Thomas Massie and the rest of his little posse, they don't want to change this. They said the way it stands is sufficient. So I thought maybe I'd give you a little breakdown as to why this has come up in July, and they decided they didn't want to do nothing. And of course, it sat there for 4 years. Nobody ever did nothing. Now, today, as they were going to vote on it, still possibly vote on it, all they have to do is change some verbiage in it. They'll come out and say, well, this is just a ploy to keep them from being released. No, this is actually to protect the victims and much more. Country Crazy out.